On today's episode, we're answering the question, no, we're not, because I'm on the wrong damn outline.
Yeah. And it's one of the biggest misconceptions out there. And I get it because who's going to want to buy from you when you only have 6 followers? How do you get that social proof? Because it is a real thing. If you go to somebody and you're trying to have them sign up for your course or your masterclass or even just your lead magnet and they only have 10 followers, well, why would you want to sign up? But that's where you have to focus in on providing value and pushing out the right content. And that is 100% how you grow. One of the best kept secrets out there is the outward engagement. If commenting on other people's posts, that's how you use their real estate. You're showing up in their feed on your ideal clients and your ideal customers' feeds. And when you show up on that way and through engaging, it's a great way to start building your authority around your social media accounts. And it is one of the biggest vanity metrics. So how many followers you have, but that's all it is a vanity metric. And I have a lot of followers on Clubhouse. And I remember a lot of people came to me and they said, oh, Katie, look at all the followers you have. And I'm like, yeah, if I got $1 for every new follow I got, I would be pumped. But I mean, right now, this is just a vanity metric for me. How can I convert these people that are following me onto my email list or into my funnel so that they end up wanting to buy from me? That's the biggest end game, not how many people are showing up to sometimes check out your content.
We had a lot of conversations, the three of us, about that.
We did. Yes.
We've always had conversations about this because we recognize the part of our funnels that social has. Getting people onto your list, getting them to buy, using social as a traffic and engagement platform. I know I talked about it earlier. It's got those multiple uses in your funnel. And one of the things that you mentioned that I thought is actually really cool is you're like, if I had $1 for everybody that follows me, well, doesn't it make sense to look at the ROI of your social activity in those terms? I'm going to use the number 100 because I like that number. It's even and small. I have 100 followers. And from this campaign, the links that I've assigned to my Instagram, I made $1,000. That means each follower is worth $10 to me. By understanding those numbers, that lets you know how much money, time, effort, energy, and attention you can invest into growing that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly a wonderful way of looking at it. And I think that a lot of people too think they have to only focus in on growing the amount of followers. But again, if you are showing up the right way on social media and you're pushing out the right content and you're doing the right campaigns for your social media, it's going to make a big difference because people will want to go check you out. They'll want to give you that follow. But the most important thing, more important than the follow, is signing up for your list or signing up for your offer or shooting you a DM to get to know you more and hear more about what it is that you do and what you offer. I can't tell you how exciting it is for me to open up my DMs and have people say, shoot me a message like, hey, Katie, I see that you do social media. Do you do done for you or do you do coaching? I'm interested. How can you help me? And that's where, okay, great. And it's because not once in my social media have I said, sign up for me to do your social media or sign up for me for strategy. It's just because I'm consistently showing up and giving value and tips and educating people the right way.
And with full transparency, Katie, I've hired Katie to do my social media because I was a hot mess.
Samesies.
Yeah, samesies. So, and for good reason too, because we were watching we've been friends with Katie for a while, but we were watching how Katie was helping other people. And we were seeing these people's accounts grow and grow and grow. We were also seeing Katie's account grow because when we first met you'd been working on everybody else's Instagram and not your own. And then you were putting in the effort to grow your own and you were seeing some really great growth. So I was like, please, can you do mine? Allison, same thing. So I've seen a ton of growth working with you, but what I've also, and I want to come back to this, is this outreach stuff, right? So outreach as I understand it, is showing up on other people's, like you were saying, showing up on their real estate, leaving comments and things like that. One, I have questions and so many thoughts. But first thing is, if you're leaving a comment on somebody else's Instagram post, are you hoping to get the poster, like the Instagram poster, the person who did it, to follow you? Or are you trying to sort of show up and be helpful and good content creator in the comments so that other people will? And and does it work?
Yes, yes, and yes. So showing up, there's an entire strategy for outward engagement. And what you have to do is figure out this hashtags that your ideal clients and customers are using. Show up into their feeds for 10 minutes a day, nothing crazy, and comment on their posts. Just say, so I work with a lot of real estate agents. So I'll comment on a lot of real estate agent posts about, oh, I love the backsplash in this kitchen. Just a genuine comment about what they have written in the caption or about the picture. But then it goes into the broader scope of social media. And this is the important part, the real estate part, where you show up on those bigger accounts and those smaller accounts than you, where you show up and can provide value, provide feedback, give your 2 cents on what the topic or what the graphic or whatever it is that the content creator has written and created. You show up in their feed and you second that opinion or say, hey, yeah, I've noticed that reach has been down too. It's always been interesting whenever Instagram rolls, anything like that. You just show up with a genuine comment. And if you leave a good comment, especially on those accounts that are bigger than yours, a lot of times they'll pin it and start a conversation. And when the more conversation that you have with that content creator, the more people are going to see your thread. So it's a great way for you to get that visibility on some bigger accounts that are similar to you, not exactly like you, but similar kind of industry. And then focusing in on those smaller accounts too, where you can show up and give value and again, use some of that ever important real estate of giving them a comment and showing up in front of their audience.
Okay, so you know me, I have to look at the sales opportunities created here because this is kind of where I live my life. If they comment, maybe we're having a decent little connection. And I've seen this happen, right? Again, same transparency. Katie does this for me. She helps me out. So I've seen and I've interacted and I've commented back and I've continued conversations and all of that stuff. Is it just, does it just end there? What do we do? Like, how do we build that relationship? And whether or not we're trying to sell to them as a client, or maybe we want to collaborate with them, or we want to take the next step, we're ready to ask them on a date. How do we do that in a way that doesn't, you know,
So I
be
do it
weird?
with a lot of people that I hear speak at events. Or people that I want to have on my podcast. So I have a podcast, which both of you two have been on a couple times now, but I'd like to bring on digital marketing experts. And so a lot of times I will be engaging on some of these larger accounts that I find value in. And if they start the conversation back with either liking my comment or responding to it, and they're doing it on a consistent basis, I will then consider that the open door to show up in their DMs. One of the best ways to show up in somebody's DMs without being spammy is to go to their stories, watch their story, and leave a comment on one of the stories that has happened. So if it's a Valentine's Day thing, or if it's a sunset picture saying, oh, I love this sunset picture. It's snowing here in Colorado right now, or whatever. Just starting a genuine conversation from their story. A lot of times, since they recognize your name from comments in their thread of their feed, they'll respond. And that is your open door right there. Hey, are you still doing XYZ? How is the book coming? I have a podcast. Would you be interested in coming on? And that is how I've booked a lot of the guests that I think is shocking that I've been able to book them on my show. And so it's through that outreach of genuine conversation in their comments moving into the stories and then into the DMs, because that is a very natural way. Instead of, we've all gotten them, right? Instead of just showing up in someone's DMs being like, hey girl. It's
Hey
not gonna
girl,
work.
hey.
I mean,
On today's episode, we're answering the question,